Hey there, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here with What's She Up To Now, day 859, talking about the transition I personally have gone through. This is my journey that I'm documenting from the offline corporate brick and mortar world, the real world of business, to the online world. And of course, the online world of business is real as well, but it's very different, and sometimes I feel like there's unreal aspects of it. But today I want to talk about one life hack. One thing I talked about in the Get Up and Go challenge, the 40-day challenge. Today is day 5, and I wanted to give people something actionable, something that we can all use right now. And we've actually been using it on a subconscious level, but I want us to do it on purpose. And that is that we all have processes and systems and ways of dealing with any kind of emotion, any kind of situation that comes up for us. But mostly we deal with them on a subconscious, unconscious level. I want to give people a tool and a way of doing that on purpose. And so the challenge today was to look at one of your positive emotions and figure out, what does it take for you to feel that emotion? Because each and every one of us, we either have a trigger or a set of something that has to happen. Something has to happen in order for us to feel an emotion. And the thing is, it's so fast all the time. You know, somebody might look at us the wrong way. We might smell a smell. We might hear a sound or music or something. One of our senses can trigger our emotion, nostalgia or whatever. And that happens so quickly and so automatically that we don't really ever question it. At least I never questioned it until about, well, that one I questioned about 15 years ago. I was looking at frustration, and that's a negative emotion, of course, but I would get frustrated at like the drop of the hat. And I realized that the reason when I did this exercise of looking at what did it take for me to get frustrated, it didn't take squat for me to get frustrated. I had trained myself to feel frustrated whenever I was in a situation that wasn't going the way I expected it to. Okay, how many people think that, do you think I was frustrated like all the freaking time? Yes, because it was so easy for me to feel frustrated. Because how often does life go, or anything go, our relationships, our anything, any experience we have, how often does that go exactly as we expect it to? Like almost never, right? Almost never would anything go the way I expected it to, in my business, in my family, in my relationships, in my life, in my physical well-being, in my health. Everything was always off, and I was always judging it as wrong because it didn't meet my expectations. When I'm judging something as wrong, I feel frustrated. Or I don't anymore, but I used to feel really frustrated. So I was frustrated all the time. And I used this exercise, learned it from Tony Robbins a long time ago. Actually, in my 20s, I did the same thing with depression. I went through a really unhealthy, physically unhealthy stage in my life where I was bedridden. And of course, along with being bedridden often comes depression. And I learned from Tony Robbins back then that there was a way to take an emotion you're feeling and understand what it takes for you to feel that way, and set it up, set the rules of your life in terms of how you're going to feel a certain feeling up for your success. So I actually virtually erased depression from the group of feelings that I ever really allow myself to feel. In order for me to be depressed, I set up the rules so that I had to virtually be dead or almost dead in order to allow myself to feel the feeling of depression, to get in a state of depression. Now, I did the same thing then later on, decades later, with frustration, when I realized that I had defined frustration as just about anything that didn't meet my expectations. And like I said, almost nothing meets our expectations exactly. And if it didn't meet my expectations exactly, then I was frustrated. And I changed that now to, in order for me to be frustrated, there has to be something that I absolutely positively have no way on the planet of figuring out, or in some way, shape, or form changing or impacting. And if it's something like that, then I might be frustrated about it. So people might say, well, are you frustrated by the COVID-19 virus? And I'm like, no, that doesn't quite meet my expectations of frustration, because there's always something I can do about it, right? I can always change the way I'm looking at it, the way I'm focusing, what I'm doing, the way I'm responding. And as long as I can change my response to things, then I don't get frustrated anymore. So it's just a really powerful kind of life hack that has had such a profound impact on me, I wanted to share it with the people in the Get Up and Go Challenge. And of course, if you're listening to me now, then I've shared it with you. It's really not as hard to do, and if you want more information on how to do it, just hit me up in the comments below, and we could talk through or walk through how to do that, because it is such a powerful thing. And once you figure it out and you do it, you can, whenever you notice an emotion that I use it on my negative emotions. I probably should beef up my life and use it on positive emotions, but I never have. Actually, that's the challenge today, is to do it on a positive emotion. So I'm going to try it on a positive emotion today. And I've always used it on emotions and things that drain my energy that I don't want to feel a certain way about. So depression, frustration, anger, and indignity, or feeling offended by other people. That's a good one. I might do that one. I haven't done that one yet. But it already takes a whole lot for me to be offended by other people. I have over my corporate years developed, being a woman in almost always, I was like one of the only women, if not the only women, in the work environments I worked in. And so you just develop a really thick skin. I think I probably have a rhinoceros hide. My family used to accuse me of that, and I think it's probably true. So that's a Get Up and Go challenge today. I'm going to the cabin this weekend, so I'm getting ready to do that. Hanging out with my granddaughter today, of course. Fun challenge today was day 150. I kind of like those milestone days on longer challenges. It's a 365-day challenge, but I'm really enjoying and appreciating the fun challenge this year, because so much, and being an election year, there's so much nonsense and so much junk going on in the world. Actually did an experiment yesterday, and I guess the night before yesterday. So it's really interesting. It's sad but interesting, and I played it through it, and I kind of feel guilty that I did that, but I wanted to stand up for something I actually believe in, but was controversial, and see what the response was. And by far, that post, it was a post on Facebook, has gotten more comments, good and bad, more engagement, good and bad, of anything I've done. And that might not be true. I'll take that back. I think I've had one where I was actually a positive thing. I was helping people and asking what they need help with, women-owned business owners, what they need help with the most, as I was preparing a summit about a year and a half ago. But with the exception of that, this one, oh, and I asked a chronic pain one too. So with the exception of those two instances, this post by far has gotten the most engagement, but not in a positive way, right? And so I invalidate my own study from that aspect. And it probably did a great job cleaning up my friends list on Facebook, because I've been at that 5,000 point for several years now, and I'm always having to look for ways to get people off that without having to go through 5,000 people and take them off manually, because that's too time consuming, and it's just never been a priority for me. But as people give me friend requests, there's always like a couple hundred in the queue of my friend requests, because I don't have any space. So maybe this will actually have had a positive effect of freeing up space in my friend space, but I'm not really concerned about that. So I did do that, and I like to test things. I'm always testing things, because I use myself as a science experiment, and I use the things that I do, and I need to do a lot more testing of things online. I stop and I hold back, and I don't test a lot more things that I should online. And I don't know what my excuse is for that, or my reason is for that. So often we know what we need to do, but we choose not to do it anyway. I don't know, is that maybe a definition of insanity, that we know what to do, but we choose not to do it, we procrastinate on it, we put off doing it. So that was an interesting experiment. I don't think I'll repeat it, but I think that there's this whole pressure right now, and it has been for a long time, in America, which is the land of the free and free speech and everything, where there's this counterculture behavior that if you express your opinion and someone else doesn't agree with it, instead of saying, hey, I never thought of it that way, or okay, everybody on both sides and on all sides, and even I exhibited some of this behavior, we jump on the thing that the person said, and we don't read the whole thing. We don't pick out all of the pieces. We pick out the piece that irritates us, and we respond to that. And I don't know when we got to being a society that jumps on and criticizes, and doesn't even criticize in a positive way, tears apart and destroys the one piece of information, and just just takes the opposite position. No matter what you say, no matter what you do, it's the opposite position, and that's the argument. But the bullying and the behavior and the name calling and the accusations and the prove it because, prove it based on the false media that you heard versus the false media that I've seen and heard. Ridiculous, right? It's like, it's kind of mind-boggling the way people argue now. But it's kind of prevalent in our whole world. It's like we look for things to judge. Who the hell are we to judge? Who the hell am I to judge how you think and feel about something? I have my set of experiences, you have your set of experiences, and that's how we come to the things that we believe. And it's up to each and every one of us individually to challenge our own beliefs. Challenge is, most people don't challenge their own beliefs. We believe things and we live our lives as if our reality is the only reality on the planet. And somebody actually told me that yesterday. Well, we all have the same reality. And that told me everything I needed to know about that person. For them to believe that everybody's reality is the same and that a fact is a fact is so ludicrous that I couldn't even continue the conversation with that person because we're on two different wavelengths, right? We're totally communicating on different levels. And that does not make for a great conversation. And it's not my job to help other people grow and expand. It is when I'm coaching them, but otherwise in just a conversation in social media, it's not my job to change anyone. It's to try to understand their perspective and then realize whether we should continue the conversation or not. And sometimes, like all of our relationships, it's better to walk away and step away than to have an argument because it's just not productive. We're never going to change anyone else's mind, usually on key core topics like religion, politics, right and wrong, because we all have our own sense of what is right and what is wrong. What is right to me isn't right necessarily to other people that I come in contact with. It usually is because we tend to hang around people that have the same core values as we do, but it's not necessarily so. And that's okay. We don't have to accept everything that everybody else believes. We only have to accept the things that are right for us. And we do that based on our heads, our hearts, and our souls, right? By analyzing and filtering things through all of that. So it was an interesting experiment. I don't know. I think that we all have to realize that we all get to express our own opinion. And because we express an opinion doesn't mean we're opening ourselves up for abuse, ridicule, bullying, threats, name calling. And I actually had people argue and say that, hey, if you post something on social media, then everybody else in the world can post their offensive comments and threats and whatever else they want. And I'm going to say right now, right here, that I'm going to take a stand for that behavior and say no. Because, number one, it makes an ass out of you. Because people see who you are based on how you respond, what you say, and how you behave on social media. Social media is a mirror. It isn't a mirror of somebody on me. It's not a reflection on me. It's a reflection on them. When somebody says something inappropriate or name calls or bullies or acts in a negative way, that says everything about them. It doesn't say, I disagree with you, here's my opinion. It says, I'm attacking you because that's how I feel about myself inside. And if you look at the comments with that in mind, you start feeling sorry for people that behave that way because it's, number one, so inappropriate. Number two, it shows the world exactly who they are. And as hard as it is for us to admit, especially with people we love and care about, people show us all the time exactly who they are. It's up to us to see it. And why I say that is because I've got a lot of experience with that. I have a lot of experience believing people think like I do, and then when it's in my face and they do something to show me that they're not who they say they are or who they are on paper, then I see it. But I have these filters and these rose-colored glasses and blinders on about people being good and true and honest and having high integrity and having the same core values as that I do. And guess what? They don't, right? Most of the world does not think and feel and believe exactly like we do, as it should be. We don't want to be in a world of all the same people. That would be so boring and so not fun and so lacking in diversity and amazing possibilities that who would want to be a part of that? I guess some people, but not me. All right, that's it. That's all I've got today. I've got a gazillion things to do today if I'm going to go out of town this weekend. And I also get to hang out with my amazing granddaughter, so I'm going to enjoy that thoroughly and have some fun with her today. Go out. If I can help you in any way, let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, have an amazing day and an amazing weekend. And you know I'll be here popping in tomorrow to just talk about what I'm working on. But That's it. That's all I've got today. I wish you an absolutely amazing day filled with love and kindness and hope and possibility and fun. Take care.